Welcome back to the Robinson Replay. It's your favorite father-son sports podcast. What's up, Dad?
What's up? I'm a little under the weather, but I'm ready to go today. Let's do this.
Let's do it. It is March Madness. It is time for the brackets for a prediction. We really should have done this a couple days ago to have this out before. By the time you're probably hearing this, March Madness has probably already begun with the different games going on here. But we will still see our predictions for March Madness here and keep updated as the bracket goes on here. But before we get into some March Madness, we did see the US of A lose yet again in their pastime.
The March Sadness.
The sadness,
right
factory of sadness here. You would have think that they were in Cleveland.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
So, what did you think about this game last night? You were watching pretty intently. You were
I watched very intently. Yeah. The thing is, it just seems like, first of all, the U.S. just didn't seem as into it as the other national, like the Dominican Republic, the Venezuela. They didn't seem like into it, except for that home run. When they hit that home run, I really thought that when they tied it 2-2, I really thought they were in it and they were going to win it. But they just didn't do the finer things in order for them to win. It just seems like it was almost destined for Venezuela to win this game, especially after we took their president several months ago. That now they just were really pumped for this game, and I don't blame them. It's our national pastime, but in these Dominican Republic, Venezuela, baseball is the deal there. I mean, it's all about baseball. They love baseball there, and they do love their soccer too. But I really think, especially they came out, they got the runs, went up 2-0. I didn't even think the USA was going to have a chance to tie it. Then, Bryce Harper hit that 2-run shot. Then the very next inning, Hitchcock comes in and he Hitchcocked it away. And let me tell you what, it was over. Disappointing to say the least. Our bats were terrible. We have all these big name batters, Judge and all the rest of them, and we just couldn't get hits. I don't even know how many hits we had. What, we had 3 hits, maybe 4 hits? I don't know. We didn't have many. So, needless to say, we couldn't hit the ball for nothing. And the last time before that 2-run home run last night, the last time they scored was the 4th inning against the Dominican Republic, up until they scored there in the 8th inning with the 2-run shot. So talk about terrible batting. But, this time of year, batting is a little bit behind the pitching. So it is what it is. Both low-scoring games that they played between Dominican Republic and Venezuela. So it was. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, like you said, the U.S. had 3 hits. I mean, how is that even possible?
Yeah, it's crazy. I knew they didn't have many
with that lineup.
Yeah, I know. It's sad.
Yeah, it was 3. It was 3.
A lot of people watching this stuff,
especially lost a. Go ahead.
No, it just seemed like they just didn't seem to be totally locked in. Like I don't know. To me, DeRosa, their manager, I thought he made a couple bad decisions. Putting certain pitching in there, and I thought he should have put in a pitch hitter a little earlier than he did, try to spark them, but it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, just stings, obviously, that we lost in 2023 there against Japan, and now lost again to Venezuela. So
same score.
It's real disappointing. Hopefully 3 years from now we can turn it around, get a 3-2 the opposite way there.
Yeah, I hope so, but I don't know, man. I tell you what, these other countries they seem to have more pride overall. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we can't say that about everything, because the hockey, men's and women's, both did well. The hockey players even gave their jerseys to the baseball team to wear, and they still couldn't pull that out. But who knows? It is what it is. I got to go on, and now the whole 162 game regular seasons coming for baseball here, starting in about a week or so here. So
Yep. Yeah, about a week. So,
we'll talk
yep,
about that
we'll
next
have
week a little
plenty of
bit.
baseball to.
Talk about that, and we'll talk about some madness next
All
week.
right.
And
Well, last week we picked these two games right here: Nuggets at Lakers, Timberwolves at Thunder. Let's see. I had the Lakers and the Thunder, and you had the Nuggets and the Thunder.
yes, I did, unfortunately, because I don't pick the Lakers according to
You
Dan.
watch either of these games?
I watched a little
You
bit
don't.
of according to Dan, I don't, and I don't. Matter of fact, Dan sent me a text today saying that Luke knows what he's talking about when it comes to the Lakers. So he was very proud of you about that, and but yeah, the Lakers are on a 6-game winning streak. They are actually playing good ball. OKC starting to really come around a little bit. They're starting to get more consistent. But yeah, I thought Denver had a chance to win that game there at the end. I was watching that game and they blew it. They gave up that at the end there. It went to overtime and then they won it, I believe. Wasn't that the overtime game? Yeah, that was. Ugh. So, oh
I
well.
didn't watch either of these games honestly, so I can't really speak to either of them in depth here.
Yeah, I watched
All I
the
know is I
Nuggets
got them
Lakers.
right.
I guess it's better off when you don't watch. Yeah.
But we got the Timberwolves at the Celtics here. This could be a future East Coast matchup right here. So, Dad, have you heard of the Vegas team and the Seattle team going to be
Yes, I did.
probably, most likely going to be the next teams?
Yeah.
People are saying that the Timberwolves would probably be the most logical team that would go over to the East Coast. Do you agree with that?
Well, I guess they are more Midwest than the other two teams. Obviously, Vegas and Seattle would definitely have to be on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I just saw a thing tonight saying LeBron said he is not interested in buying the Las Vegas team. Just heard that
Hmm.
tonight.
Huh.
So that was pretty interesting. But my thing is, it's going to be it's diluted now with two more teams. You're going to really dilute the pool of players that are going to be playing in the league. And it just makes for worse quality basketball, in my opinion. I think they should leave it the way it is. I think you're diluting it even more than it already is. You could easily do away with two teams and try to make teams stronger rather than add two teams, in my opinion. I get it. It's all about the money. No matter what it all
Yeah.
comes down to money at the end. So
The price
I
is going to be $7 to $10 billion for
yeah.
these franchises
And then have to pay
each. There.
entry fees and all the kinds of different
Hmm.
fees and stuff. Yeah, I get it. And it helps the NBA, and they've gotten nice contracts lately. Their NBA is on almost every single night now. And plus, you can get NBA TV. There's all kinds of ways to
They have
watch
the
the
great
NBA.
streaming. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
They're killing the streaming.
I get it. But dang, I just think it's going to dilute it more. I mean, there's some bad games now. I follow basketball a little bit for many reasons. One of the reasons I follow is, gaming. But what I've been following lately is a lot of these games are complete blowouts. I mean, they are winning by 20, 30 points a game. A lot of these games are not even close. You got the teams that stink constantly, like Washington and what are some of the other teams that really are just terrible teams, and they never
Atlanta,
come out. They're almost like the Browns in football. They never get
Milwaukee.
out of purgatory. They just
Yeah.
constantly smell every year, and they just no matter what they do, they don't get better. They try to
Yeah.
trade
Well,
draft picks. They try to do this and
mhm.
that, and it's just
Yeah.
bad.
Adam Silver has talked about now potentially having less than 82 games as a potential for the future. A few less games there.
Which I wouldn't mind that if they have a few less games. Maybe then they wouldn't be sitting players as much, because that's another problem. Then
Uh-huh.
they're sitting these star guys. They need rest. Maybe they won't have as many back to backs. That would be nice. If they're going to
Yeah.
do these things, they'd better adjust other things if they're going to add two more teams in order to make the quality as good, or hopefully make it better somehow. But But that would be a good start. I like those ideas.
Yeah. Well, then, as far as obviously, clearly Vegas and Seattle would be both West Coast teams. So the prevailing sentiment that I've heard is that Minnesota would be the most likely team to go to the East. But technically, the Memphis Grizzlies are the most Eastern team. They're actually the only West Coast team that is east of the Mississippi River. And then New Orleans is kind of close to the East too. It'd basically be New Orleans, Memphis, or Minnesota. But like you said, the Midwest, you think more East Coast probably
Yeah, I agree.
than.
Yeah, looking at it here, I do see Memphis and Timberwolves would be the logical ones there for sure. When you look
Yeah.
at the two division, Western Conference, Eastern Conference, I
Yeah,
agree.
and then that is going to affect how then they do divisions, right? As well.
Right.
People were saying they could do what, 4-team divisions, 6-team divisions, something like that. Doing the kind of the NHL model where there's larger divisions, or like the MLB where there's smaller divisions. Is that right? I think so. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they are.
Yep. Yeah, I love those videos explaining and like the maps. You
Mm-hmm.
see those on social? Maps are pretty cool. I'm kind of a nerd for maps. Map video.
Well, you always like your history, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, what about this Timberwolves Celtics game here?
The Celtics have been hot. They've been hot lately. Tatum's come back and really starting to click, and Brown's been sensational still. So between Tatum and Brown coming back and doing well, Timberwolves have been up and down. So I'm gonna go with the Celtics on this one
Gonna go with the
at
Celtics. I'm
home. Yep.
also going with the Celtics at home there. They have been pretty good. I mean, their most recent losses to OKC and the Spurs, obviously some great teams there.
Mm-hmm.
But then beat the Cavs, just beat Washington, beat Phoenix,
Beat
and
the
are beating
Warriors.
Golden State right now.
Yeah, they won
They play
120
Memphis on
99.
Friday. Yeah, they play Memphis on Friday. Should be another win there. So they could be rolling in. I honestly do think right now, if I did have to maybe change my pick for the finals, I would probably lean towards the Celtics now over the Cavs. I
Definitely,
really would.
Cavs.
So
I tell you what, when you look at the Cavs lately, it's win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. It's they. I mean, they hit that streak when they got like 6 in a row. Look, they were looking that sensational, and a lot of the people around the league are even saying it seems like they're just not clicking again. And Harden came in at first, and they were doing real well, and now Mitchell seems to have a little swoon this time of year. Like last year, he had a little
yeah, I've been
swoon,
here.
and so I'm a little concerned about him, to say the least. I just, missing Allen though. They've missed Allen for the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 games, quite a few games now. He's a big part of them. He was doing really well. I mean, Harden was really feeding him the ball. He was getting lots of points off pick and roll and stuff like that. They really need him to get back. They only have 13 games left in the season. So
Crazy.
most of these teams now have 13, 14 games left. So this is the final push here before the middle of April, when they start to get ready for the playoffs. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
we'll be in the playoffs a month from now.
Yep.
So crazy. Before March Madness, real quick, we do have an NFL update. A few different moves happening. Nothing too major here, but we got Hollywood Brown signing with the Eagles, Christian Kirk signing a 1-year deal with the 49ers here, Jalen Waddle being acquired by the Broncos in a trade there, and then Justin Fields is being traded to the Chiefs there, backing up Patrick Mahomes, which Fields could start the first week or two with the Mahomes injury, his ACL potentially,
He
but
definitely
I guess we'll
could.
we'll see. Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility. But then again,
Uh-huh.
they gave Fields the option of where he wanted to be traded to, so he got to pick. He picked to go to Kansas City.
Huh.
Um, so he picked to go there, which doesn't sort of surprise me at all. Um, I think he's sick of playing with a bunch of losers. I don't blame him. I mean, he went from Chicago and then he went to the Jets, and it's just been. And he was on Pittsburgh for a little bit. He did okay at Pittsburgh. They weren't complete losers there, but so I just think that he was ready to go to a really good contender in Kansas City. I tell you, the
Mhm.
big news for me is that trade there.
Waddle.
They traded Waddle for a first, a third, and a fourth,
Uh,
and they traded
yeah.
Waddle and the Dolphins' fourth pick, which is a lower fourth pick. Well, the Broncos' fourth pick is later in the round, so it was a
Yeah, you were
fourth
sending
pick
me that
switch.
yesterday.
Yeah,
All the dead cap for the Dolphins. Explain that a little bit.
yeah, that is absolutely mind-boggling. So the Dolphins have $175 million in dead cap. The cap is set at 301 million. So they're only playing basically on $125 million worth of money. So
Mhm.
they've cut
So dead cap meaning players that they are paying on their payroll of
right
that $300 million that are not
on
playing
the
for them
team.
anymore, but they're
For
still
instance,
required to pay them.
yeah, for instance,
Wow.
Tua
Yeah.
50 million, Tyreek 28, Jalen Waddle 26, Jalen Ramsey 20, Fitzpatrick 13 million, Bradley
Wow.
Chubb 10 million, and the list goes on.
I mean, has it ever been that bad before of that
No,
much dead cap?
that's the highest dead cap ever. It's a new record. Even
Wow.
the clowns have a lot of dead cap on there because of the whole Deshaun Watson thing. But Miami is now they are in official tank mode. I feel
Yeah.
the person I feel sorry for the most is Wills. I mean, he
Yeah.
said that he
Willis.
didn't want to sign with Willis. He didn't want to sign with the Jets because he thought it was not the right situation. But I'll tell you what, I think even the Jets are a little bit better than the Dolphins. I mean, at
Ooh,
least
that's
they
saying a
have,
lot.
yeah, at least the Jets have somebody to throw to still.
Yeah, man.
The Dolphins have completely tanked. I mean, they got two firsts now this year. I don't know. I mean, they are definitely. It's going to be between the Jets and the Dolphins, I think, for the number one pick, and the Browns with a close third. But I think those two, and they play each other twice. So,
Don't say that about the Browns. They're going to be bounced
uh,
back this year. What do you mean? You said the Browns just made 4 signings today.
yes, they did. They
Some
made
pretty positive news.
Julian Akaro, Edgeman. They made Tylen Wallace from wide receiver. Edge AJ Epinenza. I like him. He's an edge guy from the Bills. And Daniel Thomas, a safety. Thomas and Wallace are pretty much special team kind of guys. Maybe I think Wallace maybe returned some punts or something like that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I do like that they sign. I really I know some people were saying, you know, Christian Kirk he's injured all the time, but I really would have liked to seen him on the Browns. Get a little slot guy in there. He's been healthy. He had a good, I don't know, last 3 or 4 games of the year. Christian Kirk had a really good stats. I wish they would have got him, but that's part of the business. So we'll see. My thing is too that going back to also to that Dolphins thing, is they Dolphins and Jets play each other twice. So whoever, hopefully they're hoping I'm sure for a split, or they're hoping that they tie both times or something. I don't know, because you don't want to definitely don't want to win the series on that. You don't want to go up 2-0. That'll knock you out of the first place for that draft pick.
Hmm.
But I also going back to last week too with the Max Crosby thing, Luke. I sent you some
Yeah.
information about that
Yeah.
earlier
Yeah. I
this
did see
week,
that.
and oh my goodness, what a freaking 3 ring circus that thing is! I tell you what,
Hmm.
between him having to go commercial from Vegas to Washington D.C., then he had to get in a
Yeah.
car, and then he had to drive to Baltimore. Gets to Baltimore. Um, he gets in there. The GM and the coach don't even greet him or anything. He goes to the doctors, all this stuff. When he finally does meet the coach, Minter, he's very standoffish. And then supposedly they said, "Oh yeah, we'll be in contact with you. We're gonna go through with it." Not a little bit later, his agent gets a call from the Ravens saying we're out. Too much the injury's too much for them or whatever kind of thing, and it's buyer remorse. There's no doubt about it. they had Hendrickson lined up, and it just goes to show you what a crappy organization the Ravens are for doing that to him. I mean, it's terrible. But you know, uh, Crosby very positive. Didn't get back till after 12 o'clock in Vegas that next day. Was back in the rehab at the facility for the Raiders at like 4:45 in the morning, ready to go. And like he said, I guess I'm just destined to be a Raider. But you know, the Raiders still could
Yeah.
always trade him. But
Yeah.
obviously,
I hope
lot.
not. I hope they keep him. And honestly,
Yeah,
I'm rooting for the Raiders.
I do
I
too.
want to see him do good. That'd be really cool. And seeing over here on the right, you got the 2027 Super Bowl odds. Number 4, the
Yeah,
Baltimore Ravens are. I mean, really,
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
that high? I mean,
I'm surprised by that. I guess they're really trying to shore up their defense, especially with Minter, who's a defensive coordinator, defensive coach.
yeah,
And obviously, they have the weapons. They still have Henry, and they got Jackson, and so they just looked off last year. I guess they're banking on them having a rebound year and coming back. I personally wouldn't have them that high, but we'll
yeah.
see what happens.
I don't know. I think Lamar is more injury prone than ever at this point, and I think Trey is a little bit overrated in my opinion. I mean, he played for the Bengals, and they were one of the worst defenses in the league. Obviously, it's a 11 uh, 11 players out there. He's just one of them. I find that kind of surprising that they're number 4 on there. I'd pick the Chiefs over them. I'd pick the 49ers over them. I'd pick the Packers over them. Maybe this is some bad odds here. I mean, maybe to update this, I don't know. But
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the top 10 there, well, it says tied for 8th, but
yeah,
these are
yeah.
10 teams. The AFC only has 4 of the top 10 teams in this. Um, I really think San Francisco is gonna really they're really coming along. I think they've had a decent off season. I like them a little bit better than some of these other teams. And we'll see if the Lions could bounce back, especially after losing Montgomery and stuff like that. See if they could
The
shore
lie
up their
downs.
line a little bit and see if they could shore it up. But it
Yeah.
definitely could be a 2-team battle again between LA and the Seahawks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll
I
see
think
what they
so.
do at running back now with Walker gone, and if it's going to be the Charbonnet show, and see if they maybe signed a rookie running back this season.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, just over a month from now, you got the NFL draft too. We'll be doing another mock draft in the meantime before that there.
Yeah.
But
And one more thing about the
yeah, go
NFL
ahead.
before we conclude, Luke.
Yep.
The NFL came out today and said they may have replacement refs for next season. Came out today
What does that mean?
that if they don't come to a collective bargaining agreement with the NFL referees, that they are going to have scab NFL referees. So they're talking about that now. I know the NFL meetings are coming up here at the end of March. I think it's next week when they'll talk about different things. They're also going to talk about the Browns would like to have that you are able to trade 5 years out. Right now, you can only trade 3 years
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
So
I
the
did
Browns
see
have put
that.
up a new proposition that they would like to have it so 5 years out. Number one, that tells me a couple things. Are the Browns looking to make a huge splash somehow and trade Garrett and get multiple picks longer than 3 years out? Is that why they're trying to get this 5? Why are they pushing it so much? It's sort of
It's the Browns pushing it for sure. I
the
thought it was
Browns,
another
the
team.
Browns, no, the Browns are the one that tabled this. Yeah, the Browns put it
Really?
on the table. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Huh.
So it's very interesting. Some of the things that will be talked about at the NFL meetings coming up here soon. So something to look at. I mean, all these little things you don't think that matter in the NFL, it does. And you would think NFL referees, you'd be able to come to some kind. This is a billion-dollar business. You'd be able to pay a couple referees some money so that that they could actually get better at their craft and pay them well, instead of being part-time. Or I know there is a certain amount that are full-time, but a lot of them are part-time referees. They have other jobs besides being an NFL referee. And
Yeah.
my thing is, if you want to make have the best quality stuff. Make them full time. Make them watch film. Make them understand the game more, what they're looking for, and
Yeah.
what they should be calling and shouldn't be calling, and have some consistency. Instead, we're talking about possibly hiring scab NFL referees. It's silly to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm done with the NFL.
All right, all right. We'll see how the NFL progresses here. Of course, before the draft, we have the March Madness here. Or I guess it'll be during, right? Yeah.
What's that?
No, March Madness will be done before the draft.
Oh
Right?
yeah, long before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it'll be done
3 weeks.
April 6th, I think, is the final for the March Madness. April 6th.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be long done before the draft.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have my bracket, your bracket right here. A
Yes.
little bit hard to see. I don't know if y'all will be able to see the very fine print
Mhm.
in the lineups here potentially or not here. But we're not gonna go down every game or anything. Just kind of talk about some key teams to look out for. What we thought when making our bracket here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're probably listening to this potentially when the first round is taking place currently, if not already over. So we will take that in consideration there. What was your thought process going through your bracket here, and how many brackets did you make before this final conclusion for this bracket?
I made 2 brackets. This one here and another one for my buddy league's Pat's league. When I first of all, when I'm looking at these brackets, I'm trying to look. It comes down to guard play a lot in the NCAA tournament. And for me, who's hot right now, who just maybe won their tournament, maybe stringing along, and who's healthy. Obviously, most people know I'm a Duke fan. They concern me. I do have them in the Final Four.
Yep.
They do concern me.
You have them in the championship, yeah?
I know. They still have both of their players out. It's very concerning to me. The 7 guys that they do have playing right now are doing really well. They won the ACC tournament, which is not really saying that much because the quality of play in that tournament is not comparable to like the Big 12 or the Big 10. So their guard play is a little worrisome, especially since their point guard is out for possibly till the Final Four. Even if then, he may not even be back for sure. So, I just went homer on that one. I'm not going to lie. I went with my Dukies to the Final Four, but in the end, I couldn't pick them to win the actual title.
Yeah,
I went with Arizona. Arizona has a little deeper team. That's why I went with them. I really like the Iowa State team a lot. And then I went with the title champs from last year in Florida to get there. So my thing is, try not to pick too many upsets. I do have a couple of upsets. One of my big upset was I picked Hofstra over Alabama. We had the Alabama guard. His name is Aiden Holloway. He got found with 2.1 pounds of pot on him the other day and didn't have a tax stamp, which is some kind of stamp for, I guess, if you're selling it legally or doing whatever you might have. So anyways, he's got a couple felonies on him. The team kicked him off the squad, so he's no longer with them. He's their second leading scorer. That's why I went with Hofstra on that one, just because, they're in a little turmoil there in Alabama, or maybe this could be a rallying point. Who knows? But I decided to go with the Hofstra Pride. The Hofstra Pride I went with that one. So we just learned that nickname there a couple minutes ago. That's what's part of the fun about all this tournament. When you find out some about these teams that are the lower seeds, you find out their nicknames or different things like that. Or like Luke was also saying earlier that a team from Queens, North Carolina next year is going to be merging with another team, and they won't even have a team anymore after this season, which is very interesting to know. So it's always nice to find out a little bit about different teams to why you pick them or why you don't pick them, or what's a little tidbit about them that lots of times you don't like. I don't even know where that team's even located or where they're from, or kind of
No,
thing. So
yeah.
that's always interesting. Another
Hmm.
interesting one I picked VCU over North Carolina.
I did as well.
Oh, okay. Well, the
Yeah.
reason I picked VCU, I thought they were underseeded. They should have been a higher seed. They just won their tournament. North Carolina has been playing well. Caleb Wilson out still for the season. I like the VCU club. I did see some of the tournament game that they won. So that's why I went with them on that one. And like I was saying earlier, I tell you what's going to be one of the best matchups, especially here in the second round of 32. Wisconsin, Arkansas. I think that's going to be a great game. There is
Mm.
four great guards in that game. Four great guards, two Wisconsin, two Arkansas.
Well, Arkansas is one of the best players in the league, right?
A cuff, yeah, a cuff.
Yeah. A cuff.
They have a cuff and Thomas. Those are the two guys.
And of course Coach Cal.
Yeah, and then Wisconsin has Boyd and Blackwell. Um, I tell you what, like I said, the guards are king here. Lots of times, it's always good to have your bigs, but the guards do well in the tournament. So that's why I went with Wisconsin in that one. That game was definitely a coin toss for me. But I went with Wisconsin, even though Arkansas did win their tournament. So maybe
Yeah.
I may have buyer's remorse on that one, but we'll see. One of my upsets was BYU over Gonzaga. I thought that was and I like Purdue's play overall. They won the Big Ten. That Smith, the point guard,
You
is
picked
very good.
BYU over Purdue?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Wow,
did.
that far?
I think BYU is going to go farther than teams think. I think they're going to get hot.
Wow.
They do have a lot of talent on that team.
Huh.
I'm telling you, if you look at a lot of my things, a lot of them are Big 12. Big 12 teams. Or, I mean, there's a couple Big 10, couple SEC, but I got the big power schools coming down when it gets down to the Sweet 16, Final 8. So that's what I went with. But I mean, our brackets are very similar. The only difference between my bracket and your bracket is you have Houston, I have Florida. Besides that, our final four are the same. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I've heard a lot of people saying potentially there's going to be some less upsets going forward in the era of NLI,
Yes.
I and I NLI NIL NIL,
NL. Yeah.
yeah, NIL, that basically yeah, yeah, these teams are bought and paid for, so the competition is that much more spread out. But at the same time, it makes it that much more sweet when one of these teams do go down, because one of them will. There will be multiple teams that go down, multiple upsets here. These rankings are somewhat artificial in some sense here and very subjective, and so there will be upsets. But I do probably predict some less upsets. I think there was, I believe, like 10 upsets in the first round last year, I believe. Maybe, yeah, 8 to 10 or something like that there. So I do have some upsets. The craziest one for myself would be Virginia losing in the first round of 64 there, against Wright State. Reason I picked that was because my Uncle Lee went to Wright State, and so I had to represent. Shout out Uncle Lee, for Wright State there. So how I went through going through this bracket, I just made one bracket. I went with kind of just like picking pretty quickly, just like what I felt right away, just straight off feel, and then I've been slowly tweaking the bracket here and there, trying to keep some of the upsets in there, but tweaking some of it based on then the information I've learned about a lot of these teams. I've heard a lot about Arkansas with the guard you were talking about there, Dad, but I don't think that they can get past Arizona. I have Arizona going all the way. I think they're probably the most well-rounded team in the country. They only have 2 losses in the whole regular season, and it was during this like one week stretch where they had two losses in the Big 12 there. Big
Mm-hmm.
12, amazing conference. like we were saying all season long, they're just really beating each other up all year
Yeah,
long.
they
So
were. They
they're
were for
they're
sure.
battle tested for sure. But then Duke still has the potential to do it as well. There, I think if they don't go to the Final Four here or even the championship game, it's definitely a bust for them. They haven't
Yeah.
won in quite some time here. Arizona hasn't won a national championship since 1997, so that would be big for them. And of course, Florida has the opportunity of going back to back. They did that in 06, 07. Another upset I have here is I have VCU over North Carolina, just like you there, but I also have Akron over Texas
Mhm.
Tech there.
I was thinking about that. I was
Yeah,
so close to picking them, so close,
yeah,
especially with Texas Tech having they're topping out and everything. I thought, gosh,
yeah. That's
and
that's
and
that's why
Akron,
that's why I did. I remember you talking
yeah,
so highly of them during the
yeah.
season there, and so originally I picked
Yeah,
Texas
I thought
Tech.
I was this close to doing it.
Yeah,
Akron has very good guard play also. Toledo blew that game, by the way. They should have won that game
man,
in the
what a
MAC
Yeah.
tournament.
When was the last
Matt,
time
they should
Toledo
have.
was in the tournament? Were
1980.
they ever? 1980?
1980 was the last
Wow,
time. Yes.
man, that would have
So
been
it
cool.
was a long time coming, and they just 46 years they couldn't get back in there, and I thought
Mm.
they were winning most of that game, and they blew it at the end
uh,
and fine Toledo fashion, and so I was really disappointed they didn't get this punch their ticket because I thought they had a definite chance there at the end. But Akron has now won, I believe, 3 years in a row. So they are really been showing their dominance. And I tell you what, Akron has a great chance of beating Texas Tech. Great chance. That's one of the games I look forward to in the first round.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another one a lot of people are hot on is Utah State over Villanova. I've heard a lot about Utah State and their odds to potentially upset there. Obviously, it's a 9-8 seed there, so it's not that big of an upset. Um, you were saying about South Florida, how you were gonna pick them, maybe?
No, I did pick South Florida, actually.
You did pick South Florida?
I did. And the reason why I picked them is Mikel Brown, starting guard for Louisville, is out the first two games. They
Mm,
make it to the second game. He is out the first two games, which is their number one stud, and he's out. So as soon as I heard that, I was all in on South Florida to win that game
mm,
over Louisville.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, this East region, everybody's saying it's the best for March Madness here. Obviously, you have some legendary coaches throughout
Hmm.
this East. It's probably the
Right.
most packed there. You have uh, Duke's coach John Shire, Dan Hurley for UConn, Tom Izzo for Michigan State, Bill Self for Kansas, Rick Pitino for St. John's. All
Yeah.
coaches who are in the Hall of Fame are going to be in the Hall of Fame for basketball there. What
Yeah, we
what do you
don't know if
think about
Shire's going to be there yet, but we'll see.
well,
Hopefully.
yeah, we'll see one day there, but he's already pretty legendary under Coach K there. I see obviously in the round of 32 that Duke and Ohio State match up right there. Two
Hmm.
your two favorite teams right there. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and I'm all Duke. When it comes to Ohio State basketball, it's just
You don't care.
they can never get the big recruits. They can never really. They
I'm
don't look
surprised they're even
good.
in this,
Good.
honestly.
I was just gonna say that they do not. I didn't think they were gonna be in. They've won a couple key games at the end of the year,
Yeah.
which that propelled them into getting into the tournament. But yeah, they could have easily not made it. But I definitely will
But
take my Dukies over Ohio State.
yeah, but then the next game kind of worried me just a little bit with St. John's being ranked fifth. I know
Yeah,
people were saying that they could probably be ranked a little bit higher than five.
definitely. Especially they won their tournament. They beat
Yeah,
UConn for the thing. UConn ended up getting
yeah, and then
what
UConn's two.
a two
Yeah,
seed. Yeah, and they
yeah,
got a
yeah,
5 seed,
exactly.
and they
There.
just beat them. So it's
Yeah,
it's it's quite this discrepancy. St. John's is one of those physical teams, which could pose a big threat for Duke, who's a more of a finesse team. I don't really consider them a physical slash team. So if they get pushed around a little bit, I'm a little concerned they could lose right there before they even get out to the final eight. So that'll be an
yeah.
interesting game for sure if that does come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be tough there for the Dukies against St. John's.
Yeah, but like I said, overall, I think Arizona is going to cut down the nets. Like you said, last time they cut down the nets was 97. As a matter of fact, I think they beat Duke, as a matter of fact,
Yeah,
in 97.
probably. Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be, that's my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
You have
sticking
Michigan
to it.
losing to or Iowa State. I mean,
Yes.
here you don't think Michigan can get past the Cyclones, right? This is the
Right.
Cyclones.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't think they can either. So,
No, I think they'll lose to Alabama. I have them losing to
yeah,
actually. I
well,
think Alabama's a
yeah.
pretty hot team
I'm glad you
from
picked
what
that
I've
because
seen.
there's no way they lose to Alabama now. They got their guard out. So Michigan will
Shit.
beat them. Nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope. Watch your mouth, son. Um, nope. You can't go back and reach pick.
All right,
Sorry,
all right. I'm locked in. I'm locked in
you're
here.
locked in. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's why you
could
gotta do
bite
your
me in the
homework.
butt. Yeah, there's just so many teams. It's so hard to do your homework on
I
all
know,
these. I mean, there's so
I
many
know,
different
but
ways this thing could
Michigan's
go.
your team, though. You like Michigan. They're
Yeah,
your
I
number
do.
two.
I
They're
know
your
I
number
should have,
two.
but yeah. I had Nebraska going a little far. I was looking into Nebraska. I'm like, I don't know why am I picking Nebraska this far, but I have them losing then to Florida. Originally, I was having um Vanderbilt beat Florida for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking there, but
Actually, well,
um,
hey, Vanderbilt just beat Florida in the SEC
really?
tournament. Yes,
Okay.
so
Maybe I was
that
onto
could
something
definitely
there.
that could definitely happen.
What else on the bracket here?
Yeah, Luke. Vanderbilt beat Florida 91-74 in the SEC
Uh,
tournament, so they put a waxing on them.
okay.
So yeah, it could definitely happen. And Florida beat Kentucky in the tournament. So that's why I wasn't too high on Kentucky. I know you were surprised that I took Santa Clara over them, but Kentucky hasn't
Yeah.
impressed
I
me
mean,
this year.
Kentucky's still Kentucky, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
They've had a
I
real,
don't know.
real rough year for Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard they actually tried to buy the one Michigan player, the one guy from that transferred to Michigan. Kentucky wanted him. They were going to pay him like $8 to $9 million, and
Mm.
he turned him down. He turned Kentucky down to go to Michigan. He
Mm.
just thought he liked Dusty May, the coach there, and he just thought it was a better situation than Kentucky is right now. So if that tells you you're going to turn down $8 to $9 million, and you think Michigan's a better situation
Yeah.
than Kentucky, that tells you a lot about the Kentucky program, I believe.
Hmm. Yeah,
Definitely.
they're definitely rebuilding a bit there for sure. Do you
I would
think?
not be surprised if they are one and done, that Pope is gone. Um,
Yeah, head
the
coach there.
coach.
Yeah.
Grandma Judy would not like that
Yeah. No, she
if
would
they're one
not.
and
She'd be
done.
very
Yeah.
disappointed, Grandma Judy.
Yes.
Do you
So
think Miami of Ohio has any chance of beating SMU and then beating Tennessee at all?
I don't know. What do you have any idea what the score is right now in that game, by chance?
No, it's currently on right
It's
now. Let's
currently on right
see.
now.
It's
That Miami is winning by 8 with
Miami's winning.
18 minutes to go.
Oh, there we go.
There
Heck
you go.
yeah. All right.
Yep.
And Dayton, that's
Yeah.
like a home game for them.
See, the NCAA did not take my advice and go with the Auburn Miami matchup.
Yeah.
If that had been on right now, we could have had it off in the background here. But since that didn't come to fruition, the SMU Mustangs wasn't really all in on that one. And I did think Miami was going to beat them. I think they were going to have a bounce back after getting bounced out of the MAC first round they were
Hmm.
in, and so when they got bounced, I was like, they're gonna really want to come out, and especially if they get the opportunity to show the world that they are better than people give them credit for.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prairie View A&M just beat Lehigh. Big
Yes. Big
big
Prairie
time
View.
there. Yep.
Yes,
They're
that's a
about to
big
beat
game.
Florida next.
They're about to beat Florida. That'd be interesting. Could happen. Could
That'd
happen.
be funny.
That'd be amazing. I'd love to see a
Could.
16th seed beat a number one, all except for Duke. I want Siena to go down. But yeah, if it happens to any of the other ones, so be it. And Long Island
Uh,
could beat Arizona, I'd be out of it. So be it. If Howard would beat Michigan, so be it.
wow,
So
that'd be nuts.
Mm-hmm. That would be true form of March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about why I picked what I did, a little bit about the guard situation in the March Madness and who's healthy, who's not. Like I said, the thing that the Louisville guy, Brown, was out. The Alabama lost their player. Duke's still not healthy with their two guys out, two starters out, but they're Duke, and they have some definitely Cameron Boozer All-American, so we'll see if he could carry them. I know in the NCAA tournament, or the ACC tournament, he was bringing up the ball a lot. He wanted the big to guard him, so they brought the big out, and he was like their point guard for a little bit in some of the games. But his brother, Caden, has really started to play really, really good basketball now that he's been put up the ladder to be the number one point guard, and he had some really breakout games in the ACC tournament. So that's why another reason why I thought their play was really coming along, to see the Boozer boys doing well together.
Why'd you pick Arizona over Duke?
Like I said, depth. It
Just the
comes
depth,
down, and
yeah.
when it gets down to the finals, the Final Four and stuff. I just think that Arizona has more depth. I just think I mean, they both got a lot of good players, but I just think overall Arizona is a little deeper than Duke is.
Yeah.
Plus, they played in the regular season, I believe, didn't they? Let's take a quick look. I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's the thing, is Duke plays a heck of a schedule, non-conference schedule, that really makes them, battle tested and ready to go. Actually, they did not play them this year. No, that was Kansas. They played it. They also played Florida. So they played a lot of top teams. They played Texas. Who won yesterday to get in. Kansas. They played Arkansas. They played Florida, Michigan State, Texas Tech. So they played a tough non-conference schedule, which propels them and gets them ready for the tournament. That's why they do it that way, to play a lot of different teams. But must have been last year that they played Arizona in the non-conference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be interesting. I think Arizona is going to cut down the nets at the end, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
That's it.
Cool. Well, that's it for this this prediction here. We'll see next week, early next week, what our first round looks like here. See who's up, who's winning, and compare and contrast there and everything.
Yeah,
Sound
definitely.
good?
Sounds good. Can't wait for the
All right.
madness.
Awesome.
12
The madness
to
begins.
12. 12 to 12. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Watch a lot of basketball this
All
weekend.
through.
Yep.
All right.
All
See
right.
you, everybody.
Bye.